So what's up? We're here at my shop. It's pretty cool. We got a lot of stuff going on in here. You gotta think this started with dirt bikes. Like really when I moved here, we bought this piece of property. It was like I remember Winter X Games around then, like kind of when I was still doing that. I just remember that event, like kind of had a crash there and had some things going on. We ended up buying this property. And then we ended up later when we, saved up a little, we were able to build the house and keep building this whole empire here of what we have, on our property. And this race shop was really just built for dirt bikes. Like in the end, it was not really supposed to be for anything else, but it was, we have about 3,000 square foot shop. So that was plenty of room for dirt bikes, until we kind of started getting into the trucks and Jeeps and started building off-road race trucks in here. And just, man, it's a lot of stuff's happened in this shop for really, I think I've been here about 10 years. So you got to think in the last 10 years, I've been racing off-road 8-9 years. So really it was right before I started racing off-road. But anyway, I honestly am not like, my thing is I like racing, I like doing crazy shit. And at the end of the day, I'm not like a meticulous, like gotta have everything perfect guy, like perfect like cabinets, perfect, everything looks super clean, because that takes time. Like I don't have time to do that. So basically I have my gear cabinets that are super unorganized. The bad thing is my kids follow my lead, and definitely not the best example on some things, I'll admit. So we just throw all the gear in there. All the gear, this is Hayden's closet, my closet. One thing I have a hard time getting rid of is helmets. I don't know why, I just don't like giving those away. I feel like they tell a story every year, and I have a bunch in here that I kept over the years from when I rode 60s and 80s. All my Team Green helmets are in there. And when I look at them, I remember events in history by looking at those helmets, and I just don't want to get rid of them. So in the day, I don't know, boots. I think it's because I grew up and I bought my first set of gear from my paper route money at the track. For $15 I saved up, and I bought a set of gear because I used to wear hiking boots when I rode, and so now I don't like giving away. Like when I have gear and I wear it, I don't like just like getting rid of it, because to me it still means something, I guess, because I basically came from not having shit. So I hate like wasting stuff. That's a bad habit I have, is keeping piles of stuff everywhere. So anyway, we got all my helmets, gears, the gear corner where we kind of keep everything. I'm sure there's spiders and all kinds of stuff in this stuff. So we always have to blow the helmets out before we wear them. There's a lot of black widows and stuff around here, and tarantulas, and scorpions. But you go up here, and these are the X Games bikes I've kept, and I'm glad I did. For me, it was kind of tough at that time. You sell your bike for $5-6 grand at the end of the year back then, and that was your money used to buy new bikes. And so anyway, those were Jesse James, when I was working with him, built all those bikes, and we were the first ones to come out with custom bikes. Like when I say custom, like painted, polished, like all trick looking. And then that kind of kicked off in freestyle, and that whole era of black bikes and that whole era of freestyle. And then it kind of changed into every freestyle wanted to be a factory rider, and they got the factory kits and the whole look, which it changed over time, but that's just the way it goes. And then that's the fish I caught, the marlin, and it's way too long of a story to tell you on that one, but really we did catch it down in Cabo. But I definitely got ripped off super hard on that. So when you catch a marlin and you pull it in and they all attack you like the locals and make you sign stuff to say, oh, we're gonna mount your fish and it's gonna be awesome, this, that. Then they send you a fake freaking plastic fish from China. Don't fall for that. I was like, that fish cost me literally like $3,000 for a plastic fish. So anyway, it's the story, it's the memory. And then we got Hayden's bikes in here. Hayden's got, honestly, it's very tough as a parent, because you're like, you want your kids to work for stuff and you want them to appreciate it. For me, I worked for my one dirt bike I had, and he's got like, 8 bikes, and rides, he does wear them out. We do, unfortunately in motocross, they have way too many classes. That's one thing that's pretty lame. You can ride a 65 and 85 stock in mod, super mini. Like you have 1,000 classes you can ride. Really should be just one class. I mean, because of that, you have to have a lot of bikes to basically compete in every class to win them. So, which I'm not a huge fan of. But anyway, and I like the all black. We don't really race this bike. It's just for show because KTM doesn't like the all black bike. But you can't have a bike in this shop and not have an all black bike. That's kind of what we started back in the 99s, I'd say, late 90s and then early 2000s. And the kids are still running it here today. And tools, we have all kinds of tools. I've gone through a lot of different tool sponsors, which has been pretty cool. I was with because of Jesse James, he hooked me up with Mac Tools a long time ago, and then we kind of went through a bunch of different stuff and through all the forms of racing, and then I ended up back with Mac, which is honestly owned by Craftsman DeWalt, so they ended up sponsoring me and Haley, so now I got a toolbox and full of tools. Like honestly, like these tool, like look at the tools, they're like, it's pretty sad, they're still in the packaging. It goes to tell you how much I'm just old school, so I'll use the old shitty tools. Like, I don't know why. I just hate using these stuff. Like, I feel like it's a waste. So, but anyway, we got to start breaking into the tools. And all the chemicals, all the parts, all that's in here. Stickers, helmets, off-road helmets we have from the race weekend. And then, like I said, here's Hudson's 50. He usually got Hayden's hand-me-downs, but I got sick of working on the old bikes all the time, so we just bought him a new bike. So he rides that once in a while. Moto, he likes Moto, but it's not like his passion, I don't think, right now. So anyway, Hayden's championship bike, Loretta's championship bike, Loretta's. I'm gonna frame these, clean them up, I'm gonna mount them up in something, I don't know what, but I thought it'd be a cool piece of history. Put his helmet with it, his number 1 plates. I think it'd be badass. So anyway, have some costumes around here because we like to take things serious, so life's too short to be serious, so we try to have fun. Freestyle bike, Hayden's Moto bikes, Polaris. Hudson got a Polaris, so he's pumped. That's what got him into 4 wheels. I think 4 wheels is his passion. I think and he aired it super high, ended up breaking the swing arm on it, so I knew that was coming. Anyhow, the Jeeps. The Jeeps are something I got into when I got into off-road. When I got into off-road, I just realized it's more about just going out in the hills, having fun, finding trails and just doing cool stuff, and that's why I ended up getting Jeeps. And honestly, you can get a Jeep for about the same price you can build out a UTV nowadays, So, but, I make Jeep parts now, which I thought was cool. I met the right people at Turn 5 and made all these parts and built nice Deegan 38, side steps, flares, bumpers. I've been with KC lights for a while, so they put KC lights in them. They'll have lights everywhere. And, the bumpers. Cool thing is, I've been with, wheels and tires. I like that look for off-road, for the Jeeps, the beadlock, that kind of off-road look. And then I actually drew these Mickey Thompson tires out on a napkin. That's kind of how that deal started. It's a long story, I won't get into it, but basically, when I went to them, I said, I really want to do my own line of tires. Everyone laughed at me when I said that, BFG, Maxxis, everyone laughed at me. They're like, dude, no way, it's not going to happen. I said, watch. And so I went down and I kept trying, and I finally met the guys at Mickey, and they said, we're interested, we'll listen to your story. And I talked to them, and they needed a guy to help boost the brand at the time. I said, dude, I'll come in and help you. I want to design my own tire, though, and I drew it on a napkin, and I sent it over to them, and they're like, all right, cool. So they made the tire. They had to modify it a little to fit the molds and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's my vision right there. There's only so many ways you can make a black circle cool. At the end of the day, you got to think about it. But I like these. These actually work really good. And Haley races on them in Pro Light sometimes. They're actually race tested. So this is my old Jeep. It has all my Deegan parts on it. Winch I got from 4 Wheel Parts. It's good. It's good having sponsors like 4 Wheel Parts because they hook you up with little things, whatever you need. And then this is my kind of ghetto rack systems. I got these like Home Depot racks because I was like, I need to stash stuff. Every so often, I just have the mechanics go through and throw stuff out, and I don't even like want to be here because I end up keeping stuff. And then VP dials us in with all our fuels, which is a huge help. Now, one thing I hate buying, which I hate to say, is tear-offs and fuel. For some reason, it's just like burning money. But this is an awesome sponsor. When I did stuff with Jesse James, I always wonder, I'm like, how is he so big compared to the other bike builders? I'm like, because he built his image with his hands. He had this, his whole shop was painted. He had this cool image. And I was like, you know what? So I had my artist, my helmet guy come in here and start painting the walls. And a lot of stuff's old, you can tell. It's just old stuff from back in the day. And then I, had some murals done. And these are good backdrops for photo shoots and all that stuff. So kind of just giving you some tips here. And then machine shop in here. He's got, Sonny's factory bike that he was learning to do the double back on. And then we got Joe Lessie's here, right here. I don't know, he left his bike over here, so that's cool. And then, man, this thing's kind of a mess in here. But this is where we built race trucks. We actually built, Pro 4, Pro 2s in here. Kind of the basics, all you really need. Welders, lathes, metal brakes. This is all you really need to build race cars, like in off-road. It's not off-road isn't very high, like level racing, like as far as like IndyCar or something. So you can get away with that stuff. I need to clean up this place, but yeah, all tons of, we have parts and parts stacked everywhere. Wheels, rims, bumpers, stuff I don't even probably know about anymore. So that, that's, I would say, the main stuff on my shop, but I can show you some of these old helmets. And my pride is really outside, where with all my tractors. That's what I really like doing. This is all my national numbers when I race motocross. A lot of people don't know, but I race supercross and motocross. And you think of the dudes with these numbers now. Who is number 25? Who's number 28? These are decent national numbers. Like, and I was a privateer. Like, I couldn't really get a ride. And to think like it was that low of a number, back in the day. Now there's about 20 rides available in each class. Back then there wasn't. There's like 4 rides available in each class. So it was a tough time to race motocross. But these are a lot of Hayden's Moto trophies, a lot of my trophies, all my stuff from when I was a kid. I just didn't want to throw it out. I don't know why. Like, I wanted to save that stuff, but if you look at it, these are old like Loretta Lynn's. I mean, this is from 1988. Like, this is old school stuff. Well, that was pretty cool, to get to keep all that stuff, and kind of tells a story. And I don't know, it's one of those things that I wanted to keep. And then I have all my helmets over here. You see, stuff just piles up. We get so much free stuff. I don't even know what's in this stuff. But anyway, you can see the helmet. These old helmets. This is Washougal when we did the glitter bike. That was kind of FU to the industry deal. These are all old. When I won the Supercross in, old helmets from when I first turned pro. I would say this was my first helmet right here. This is my first helmet, basically, this old. And I remember I wrote the letter to the companies. I opened the magazine and wrote resume letters to the companies, and PJ1 and O'Neill gave me like the C support program, so I thought I was sponsored. And Scott, I put all their stickers on because I was sponsored by them, and it really was just like 10% off. But I thought it was like this big deal. But, as a kid, that's cool, right? As a kid, I was pumped. These are the first set of off-road shoes I ever used. I like to keep, a little history. This is kind of when I first went to Hanson Energy in 2000, and before it was Monster, and then it turned to Monster later, which was on this helmet, I think. So it was the first Monster athlete in 2000. I think it was 2000 or 2001. It was the first. We printed the graphics on a computer and put them on my dirt bike for X Games. Painted the helmet, and that was Monster. That was the beginning. So, anyway, we have a bunch of things from. I did the Tony Hawk tour. Bunch of stuff from that I kept. I look back at a lot of old pictures. It's funny, you know, what freestyle used to be and how we used to think that was cool. Like Winter X Games, I think that like won a medal for that, like sort of seat your head or something. That's like how funny it was. But. So that's it for my shop tour. Thanks for taking the time to check it out. Now I'm out of here. I gotta go riding.